Welcome to the channel. Welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about C++, and we're going to start off with the beginner level of C++, and we're going to do print your name, right? Or we can do hello world if you want to talk about that. We'll be also doing adding numbers. We'll also do user input. That means you'll be able to put your information part of the compiler so you can, get an output. We will also be doing if and else statements. I will include a little while loop just to get you an idea, because for the final part, which I would like you to know is, and many teachers will have you do in college, is do like a form of calculator, simple form of calculator. So end of this video, you will learn how to do all those things and also maybe create like a simple calculator, okay? What I'm doing right now, I'm using namespace std, and you include namespace.std. Don't forget your semicolon. Remove the std, and then now we should be able to print out on the terminal. All right, so you can see it's been debugged. Always make sure like you're using maybe like your local Windows debugger, just so you know. Okay, I'm just looking around the code to see if everything is fine. Okay, as you see, hello world, just so you know. So we're gonna print out hello world. I'm having some issues with the typo over here. Don't laugh too much. New keyboard. Okay. We're gonna add the two numbers now. Okay. I'm running my Copilot. Okay. Now you're gonna put int for integers. We're gonna add variable a equal to 5. Okay. We're also gonna add int b equal to 10. Okay. We're gonna continue. Now we're gonna add an integer sum that will take both values and then add them together. Okay, and now we'll see out the sum of the value that we inputted. Okay. All right. I should include semicolon. Okay. We're gonna put the return 0. All right. I just semicolon. All right. As you can see, the sum is 15. Excuse my French. I see put a little e there. I'm gonna go remove that right quick. And then we're gonna run it again. I said 5 plus 10, 15, simple math. Okay. So what I'm gonna do now is we're gonna put a user input. This is very important. User input. Okay, that means you'll be able to input the information. Okay, we'll be able to just input your information. I'm gonna be using again integer. An integer is for numbers. We're gonna use integer for the number. Okay, we're gonna put your age. All right. So we're gonna say integer, the variable is gonna be age, then we're gonna put cout, you're gonna say enter your age. Sin age will allow the user, to input your age. Okay, now that the first section of this code is running, is going up and down, we're gonna put the output section, which you will also see. We're gonna say cout, you are age. You're gonna see the two left opposite direction of flesh. Okay, always remember to put those, right? Remember, semicolons will allow you to put it like kind of like comments, and then this is me calling back the age. Okay, now we're gonna put the return 0. We're gonna run it. Okay. All right, we're gonna enter the age, 28 years old. Okay. Just double checking what's going on in the background. Okay. All right. Yes. You're gonna see when you enter your age and you press enter, it just shows you you are 28 years old. And I don't know, if you're like 5-year-old, you can put it. If you're like, 20-something years old, you can also like put that information. It doesn't matter. It's your code. All right, play around with it, see how you feel, and then you can continue here. All right. FYI, these are prescribed glasses. They're not just for show. Okay, I know I look cool in them, but they're not just for show. Now we're gonna try to do the if-else statement. Now we're gonna see if we can do the if-else statement. Okay. I'm looking at this Copilot code right now. I was really excited to maybe I could use that later on, but just so you have the habit of doing it, all of us will write it down. During exams, some professors will have you write it down like on paper, just so you can't cheat or anything like that. So it's very good for you to keep that in mind, especially like if you are just barely learning how to code, especially with C++. Just make sure you know your syntax and understanding those things. So right here, we're gonna put int, an integer calling number. All right, we're gonna say int number. We're gonna see out, enter a number, and then we're gonna send, as we did before when we input a user information, we're gonna input that number. Okay. We're gonna call the if statement. If number is superior than 0, so if a number is greater than 0, that means what? It is a positive number, right? So we're gonna say if whatever number that you put in the information and the input is bigger than 0, the greater than 0, then it is what? It is a positive number. Let's see that out. Okay, let's continue. Okay. All right. Else if, right? If the number is less than 0, obviously is what is gonna be a negative number. All right. So we're gonna try to run that again. I'm having some, what is it, Copilot compilation, okay, we're up here now, okay. Negative number, okay. All right. Oh, wow, okay. I'm having an error message right here. Okay, I'm missing the return 0, and I'm also missing another parenthesis. Okay, cool. Yeah, see if I can run that. The return type, then the 0. Still not compiling. Okay. Oh, parentheses. All right, we're gonna close that. Let's see that parentheses real quick. As you see here, I put the parentheses. Okay. These are things that you definitely need to check out, especially when you're doing coding. Because always make sure like you're checking out your lines, see what the error is, because there are times where it may not work. So I put number 2. I'm gonna check out maybe -1. See -1. It's gonna be what, a negative number. It's just so you could know what the else statement is doing. That way you don't have to worry about how we're gonna also implement that in doing the calculator. Okay, everything that we just learned just now is to do the calculator. Right here, I'm doing a while loop. The while loop is going from 1 to 10. It's just so you can know. We'll sub the integer I with the number 1. We're gonna while loop 1, right? less and equal to 10. So it's gonna go 1 and continue. We're gonna see out I, and then you're gonna see I plus plus. That means the number is increasing, okay? And then we're gonna go out of the while loop, put our return 0, okay? And that's what you see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, okay? So remember how the while loop structures is like we have the while loop I go to 0, etc. and etc. I go to 1, etc. and etc. Okay, so here is with a simple calculator. I already had that pre-made, but I just wanted you to see it. We have the char OP, which is going to be the variable that we're going to input for plus, negative, multiplication, and division. So we have addition, negation, multiplication, and division. Okay, so we have two floats. The number 1 is the variables, number 1 and number 2. All right, so those are the two numbers that we're gonna need in order for us to complement the code. All right, so okay, we're gonna call out the operator. Right, so we're gonna input the information one by one. We're gonna say if, like, let's say enter an operator. Okay, we're gonna make sure that, hey, that operator, you can choose the operator yourself, which is why you have it here. And then we're also gonna input two numbers, number 1 and number 2. The if statement is gonna say, hey, if o up is equal to, which is the operator, up is equal to plus, is gonna be now number 1 plus number 2, and then we're gonna keep doing that up until like we have the formal information. Okay, so and then the output is gonna be, hey, if this is not equal to it, move on. All right, so either it be the number doesn't make sense. If you don't put the space, make sure to put the space when you're doing it. Okay, I'm gonna read that again. Else if up is is gonna be an addition. We're gonna see how we're gonna do this. Okay, this is the first section of the code that says enter the operator. Okay, we're gonna choose plus, simple addition. All right, we're gonna say 2 space 3, 2 space 3. Okay, okay. Oh, I put 5. Okay. What is going on? All right. Try one more time. Operator first. But again, operator first. I'm gonna say 5. Multiply by 5. It's 25. And you can do this with multiple variation of numbers. Okay. You should definitely play around with that a little bit, and this is how you have your calculator, because you're taking 2 inputs from the user, the number 1 and the number 2. So the user have 2 inputs, and then you can continue that. Okay. With CMath, you can play around with it a bit more. My advice to any student is learning the code. You can even add square root, everything. You could literally have a full calculator on your C++. Okay. Enter a 2 number, putting 12.5. I already subtracted. It's gonna be 12 is 0.5. Okay. It's very good, isn't it? It's very cool. That's a very cool. C++ I like C++. That's the reason. Okay. Obviously you have to put an error message. I like to put maybe 2 error message within the section that you want. That's why you're gonna see in the if statement, you're gonna see that there's an error message, or either be an invalid operator, or it might be like you didn't put the right operator, or it could be like an invalid. This cannot happen when it comes to this. All right. Okay. As you can see, we're looking at the invalid operator one more time to double check like what we got going on here. Okay. I'm gonna do a division. We're gonna say 7 divided by 0. Just so you could see the error message. One other thing that you should notice too is like, within the code, you're gonna see that I put if-else statements within the else-if statement. That way, you can see like I can make changes and put a direction within the code of another error message. Right? You could be more specific. You could be like, hey, I don't want this user to have more than, let's say, more than 2 decimals, like more than this amount of decimals. All right, so all those things could combine to give you a final answer, depending on how you want to play around with this code. Okay. Here I'm doing I'm just gonna show. I'm gonna choose multiplication. I'm gonna choose multiplication. I'm gonna put 27.98. All right, multiply by 14 point, I would say 25, right? And you're gonna see it's gonna give you an answer with this amount of decimal, all right? What I want you to do, play around with the code, right? I said, if you're listening new while watching my videos and you learn something that you never thought about before when it comes to coding, make sure to like and subscribe. You know what I mean? We're here, we're teaching, and we're very, very proud of that, honestly. So, yeah.